Okay. What, Trixie? I don't know what you're saying. Oh, god damn it, YouTube. What? Can you see everything okay, Trixie? I think you... Okay. For some reason, it's claiming that I'm sending some sort of obscenely large screen resolution. Anyway. Do I sound okay? I think it's just me and you right now. I should probably start getting things set up. Let's see here. And software, Slack. I'll create this one. Huh. I thought I had it set up to stream in 1080. I guess I'm gonna have to play around with my settings. I mean, my screens are at 4K native. It's just the macOS does weird things with its screen modes and graphical settings with Retina. There's actually a virtual screen that is, I believe, as what YouTube is claiming, there's a virtual screen at 5120 by 2280. But I have this monitor that you're seeing in the scaled 1080p mode. Anyway. Anyway, let's see here. Oh, I should have posted it to Twitter. Is it too small? That's why I'm at this screen resolution. It is... Let's see, I need to maintain at least 80 columns wide. Alright, so... Let's see here. We need a hard drive image. Did I make one earlier? I did not make a hard drive image. I think we need one of those. We need a hard drive to install things to. Is it better now? QCOW image and native .o.img. And let's go with an enormous 5 gigabytes. An unheard of size at the time. Slackware 3.0 was released in, what, 1994, 95, somewhere in there? And hard drive sizes were think I was dealing with a 500 megabyte hard drive. But let's see here. Hard drive created. Is what even legal? A 5 gigabyte drive? It should be accessible because Linux itself uses LBA. I think at this point. Pretty sure. Be kind of weird if they didn't. But yeah, it's as long as it's using EID LBA, it should be fine. So I think the upper limit there was like 127 gigs. But at least at the time, QEMU doesn't have any restrictions. There are BIOS limitations, but with Linux you don't have to worry about the DOS limitations if you're using CHS modes. But it should just be an LBA once now I'll have to keep the Linux kernel within like the first 500 megabytes, but that's not a big deal. That's a weird thing. I'll get to that when I start loading up Lilo and all that garbage. Now to make the boot and root disks. These are fun. Blank to boot or boop disks, yeah. Let's see here. We want ID CD. And then we want equals boot disk conf equals no. Well, it's a boop disk when it doesn't work. These are so... The way Slackware does things is just so bizarre, especially back then. Like the root disk is just this gzipped blob, and I believe it's just just a RAM disk image, which is really strange that Linux these days uses RAM disks. But in a totally different way. Okay. And let's see here. Emu. Yep. PC-D Slack native hard disk F boot disk. This is way before the time of bootable CDs, which is unfortunate because having to boot off of floppy disks is annoying. Don't tell Foon I said that. Okay, and how's the QEMU? How's the QEMU window look? I love this. I really love this. Please email this person's personal email address. Like it would never change. Okay, so let's see here. Cambrian cursed Slack 3 root disk. Yes, I named the drive that I'm doing all of this on Cambrian, for obvious reasons. Yeah, I can't actually make the QEMU window any bigger as far as I can tell. I have not found any like scaling flags for it, at least for the macOS version. I may have to recompile a version that uses SDL later to see if I can use that to resize. Because I would really rather have used my native, my 1440 display resolution instead of the 1080p. All right. And in good old ancient software software spirit, just like with DOS, if you try to set up your software before you partition, oh, you can't do anything. Why didn't they just the setup program will format your drive for you, but it won't partition it for you. It's great. Hello. I'm doing cursed things. And HDA from the days before everything was a SCSI drive on Linux. New primary partition 1, 1. Okay, I really should do this since I have a 6. Wait, why is it only seeing 652 cylinders? It may not see the full size. Oh God. Is it really this bad? Oops. I did not want to have it only one cylinder in size. New primary 1, 1. Let's put it 500 max. Huh, yeah, it's only saying 500. Oh, God, early Linux. You're really addressing the hard drive that way? Oh. Which limit? IDE hard limit 5. Which limit was this? Oh, you dorks, you're actually using BIOS. You're actually using BIOS to address this drive. New primary. I'm just going to do one partition. I wonder if I'll be able to magically see the space once I reboot into the full running kernel, but somehow I doubt it. Oh, yeah, I think it is using the BIOS API, at least right now, at least this particular setup kernel. 1990, was it 94 or 95? It's iffy if it was. Let's see here. Wiki. Scroll. I should make this bigger. see here, 3.0, 1995. It should have been. They should have been using LBA. But of course, remember, this is early Linux we're talking about. User friendliness is not on the table at all with early Linux. I mean, just wait till we get to recompiling the kernel. You will see how cursed early Linux is. Whoops. Oopsie. Let me fix that. System preferences. Turn off my screensaver hot corner. Okay, that shouldn't happen again. Oh, Ada, this version of Slackware was the first version of Slackware that used ELF instead of a.out. But this is also before the GCC/EXC, whatever the heck it was. That was a confusion that I had no idea what was going on. All right, we've got our. Look at this beautiful setup program. Just look at it. It is something. Most of this we don't need to worry about. Oh, I didn't put the CD-ROM in the drive. Oh wait, no, I did. Let's see here. Yes. See, it'll format my disk, but it won't partition. And we can always choose how many inodes per bytes we use. Like that was ever a choice that anybody really needed to make. I think, yeah, I'm not sure on the libc. I think 1.2 in Linux kernel 1.2 is the first one that had an ELF loader in the kernel. And I think it was libc 5. Yeah, the whole everything about early Linux is even worse than Linux is these days. It's just, yes, I do want to install from CD-ROM. This is something I never got to do, is install early versions of Slackware off CD-ROM. This actually works. It found my CD-ROM drive. But when I was growing up, at the time I was using this version of Slackware, I had a proprietary CD-ROM drive that was attached to the sound card that my dad had bought, and that thing, I want to say it was either MediaTek or MediaVision, one of the two. I don't remember which company it was. It had media in the name. And the drive interface was a Mitsumi drive interface. And it claims Mitsumi support, the Linux kernel of this era. But I have not seen, I've never gotten it working. The other thing with that sound card that made it just so wonderful is that the drivers were so bad for Windows 3.1 that if I played anything like anything that wasn't in the standard PCM codec, it would just lock up in Windows. It was awful. the battle days. And let's just screw it. Let's just install everything. I don't care. We'll install it all. Yes, I want to install. I'm installing the operating system. Of course I want to install the operating system. Yeah, this is old Linux is bad. I mean, I did make a 5 gigabyte hard drive image, but I'm only seeing the first 500 megabytes of it because of course this is using BIOS instead of LBA, because why would we do things the right way? Yeah, it is. There's text installer, which I've used in the past, and it's just the text installer is pretty much unusable. Sure, we'll install all of this. Do want to install make. If I don't install make, I'll be kind of boned. At least it's a sparse image, so it won't waste my hard drive space. Not like I care about a couple of gigabytes these days. Oops, I think I didn't want to install the X removal package, but oh well. Ooh, ancient how-tos from TDLP. I've got on my Mac Mini right now. I've got 3.5 terabytes hanging off of it, or in it, I should say. 0.5 terabyte internal. My 2 terabyte NVMe, and then I'm running all this stuff off of a older SATA 1 terabyte drive that was in my old gaming computer when I tried to game and didn't. Look at all these various NNTP readers. You never had back then a lack of choice in how you wanted to get onto Usenet. And I am not going to go through any extra kernel images. I'm going to build my own anyway. Yeah, I kind of miss it for some things. Like it was. Ooh, I can print to my DeskJet 500. Now I don't know about that. I never used Usenet for anything but piracy. But then again, I was just always into IRC. Like, I really cut... Elvish font. Font based on Tolkien's Tengwar. Wait, is there a Klingon font in here? There better be a Klingon font. Come on. Oh, you've got to be kidding me. No Klingon font? Oh, if I only knew enough tech to use some of this stuff. Another Tangor. Oh my god, nerds made this operating system. I mean, I don't mind. It's just nerds. Did I miss it? Was it within the distribution? I just missed it, or do I have to go get it separately? And I will be right back. I'm thirsty. I need another drink. Okay, back. Yes, that was actually so. Next time around, I want to figure out a way to for my AFK screens to use the BSOD screensaver. That way, you're having an actual animation as well. Good old TCLTK, which is still really used in the electronics industry. Okay, do I have a Cirrus Logic? Go figure. No Cirrus Logic one. I guess I might have to mess around with VBE, and if I remember correctly, X386's VBE extensions or support was absolutely terrible. Yeah, it's supposed to be a VBE 2.0 Super VGA driver, so hopefully it'll work. If not, I might have to go and grab something else. Figure out where I can grab one of the later X386 servers that would support the Cirrus Logic chipset. Pardon me. I don't know if I've ever done a full install everything. Doom. Yeah, in fact, with QEMU, it's recommended for SVGA support for like Windows XP to use just the standard VBE. A DOS X11 server, nice. Yes, we want to configure. I will skip making a boot disk. Would I like to set up my modem? No, I sadly do not have one. Yes, PS2. Custom screen fonts. Sure. Nice. It ships with the shareware version of DoomWads. I like it how each of these has a really nice description of what the font is and what it looks like. Like T. No, I do not like that. Eh. Let's just stick with the standard VGA font for now. No. 300. All right. Lilo, my nemesis. God, Lilo is such a terrible bootloader, and we had to put up with it for so long. And then it got replaced with an almost as bad bootloader, Grub. Begin. Don't need extra parameters. Put it in the master boot record 5 seconds. Dev HDA1. No, I don't. No. I hate even having multiple kernels in under Lilo because Now, this version of Slackware does not have DHCP support. In fact, it took a while, and even then, the DHCP support was really garbage for Linux for the longest of time. So let's see here. I need to look up what the default network settings are for the user networking. This page doesn't seem to have it. This is KVM, not QEMU. Let's see here. No. QEMU. I think on the invocation page it gives what the defaults are. Oh, of course. I mean, how else would you get to your machine if you didn't have a static IP? I'm not sure if the floppy. I'm not sure when exactly the floppy stub went away, but it's 2.6 sounds about right. That's just so weird. Because the floppy stub also limits how big your kernel can be. Because what the floppy stub will do is it loads the kernel into low memory, the conventional 640K, and if you're too big to fit, or if your kernel is too big to fit in the 640K, it just won't succeed. It'll fail. Network. I am probably scrolling way too fast for everybody on the stream. Huh, maybe they improved it to actually use protected mode. I mean, I could always go check the source, but like then I'd have to read Linux 2.6 source code. It's painful enough to read the kernel source these days. It's at least neat, but it's still painful. Networking options. NetDev, user. Okay, so it looks like I want to use something in this range. Yeah, reading old Linux source is an exercise in just self-harm. Uh, 24 is, yeah. I really, it's like, there is no way, like, I'm sure it probably took to like Slackware 7 or 8 for them to even think about allowing the slash format for adding your net mask. Oh wait, I messed that up. That was supposed to be the, I think that was supposed to be the gateway, wasn't it? Sure. I don't care. Oh yeah, another thing about this installer. The page up and page down buttons do nothing. So I have to hold the button down to get down to US Pacific. And there's US Pacific and US Pacific new. Okay, we'll have to reconfigure the networking when we get into the operating system, but I bet we won't even be able to see our kernel or our network adapter without reboot or rebuilding the kernel. I selected just a standard NE2000, but I'm sure the default kernel does not have that. Wait, what's... Lilo. Yeah, at least you can change your options without rebuilding. Also, no root password. Just let you in. There's not even a /proc/partitions. This is so... Oh, God. Do I have module tools? Oh, I do. Okay, so there are module tools on here. That's surprising. Well, this one, the 1.2 does have proc. This is all generated. It's just that it has very little in it. Like, it doesn't even have /proc/partitions, which is... Matilda, please stop. She would like to apologize, even if she's not apologizing. Loud yelling pup. I think my medication delivery came in, so she was yelling at probably somebody knocking at the door. Okay, user source. All right. This is something I hate about most Unix commands, especially GNU tools. You don't give it enough parameters, hoping to get parameters out or usage. Anyway, you mistype things just to get some help, and it just tells you use the help instead of just giving you the help. I can never ever remember Link's order. It's always the same. It's just I can never remember it. X. All right. Yep. Oh yeah, because you could also there. As I said, this was the first version of Linux that had ELF support. The earlier version was, or earlier versions of Slackware Linux were 8.out, and I wouldn't doubt that they had to do something funky with the source trees. But let's see here. There is no menu config. Just config. So if I mess up any of these options, I have to start over from scratch. I don't want math emulation. I've got an FPU on this. I'm emulating a Pentium. It's all about the Pentiums. We do need floppy support. Normal MFM RLL disk support. Normal. Oh, I never actually used something on the ST506 interface. Okay, let's see if this stops her from yelling. Yes, we do want CD-ROM support. No, we don't want XT hard drive support. What are you, silly? Yes to networking support. I have 512 megs on this virtual machine. I don't think I want to limit it to just 16. PCI BIOS. 5 IPC. Something I was always interested in trying was Plip. But I never, like, I wanted to use it between two machines to try and do faster machine file copies and stuff, but I never was able to get it running. Some of these old file systems are ridiculous. Oh yes, you can put me on the TV with AirPlay. Oh, this was even before they had SMB support in the kernel. Stu mouse. Now here be dragons. Sound support. Which, it's actually spawning a different configuration program here. This is so awful. Do you want to include the full version? I think this enables everything as far as drivers go, and I don't want to do that. Do not want to disable sound driver. I think I might have to reconfigure my audio devices. Let's see here. Let's see the awful script I put together. Okay. Sound Blaster is at 240. The ad lib is at 220. And the Gus is at 260. Yes, they did. Because the old Linux sound support system was so awful, they just took Open Sound System. I was using OSS as early as I could. Yes, AdLib support. Yes to Gus support. No. Yeah, we'll do that. Microsoft Sound System. Yes. MIDI interface support. No. Okay, so the Gus base is 260. My RQ is 7. And the DMA is 3. I'm guessing it's going to be the set, or going to be factory, but Linux's idea of what the factory settings are wrong. think I probably didn't want 16 support. That probably isn't going to work, is it? Wait, it didn't ask me my settings for this. Oh, wait, there wasn't. I don't think this has Sound Blaster 16 support. Yes, it does. Everything. Even though there is module support, none of the kernel configuration options allow you to build anything as modules. Everything has to be compiled in, including the settings for your sound card. Yeah, Linux 1.2 was freaking awful. It was the worst. Okay, make dep. Oops, Control G. Speed is at 100. Make. Oh, why didn't it let me backspace? Oh, did it break my backspace key? Nerds, that's how. Nerds. And then nerds realized that they could some decent nerds realized that they could fix the problems, and they did, and then companies started buying in. And then once decent engineers were able to work on Linux, that's when it started to get good. What the? Why is my keyboard half working? Okay. All right, now it's working. But my keyboard just decided to, or the keyboard input on this just decided suddenly to accept only some keys. Linux. Unfortunately, this is going much slower than it went in my VirtualBox VM because I wasn't able to start QEMU running 32-bit code with hypervisor frameworks. So this is doing all emulation instead of virtualization. So it's not going nearly as fast, but it's still substantially faster than back in the day, because on my 386, this build process right here took 26 hours. And it's done. Oh yeah, by the way, this does make modern Gen 2 look absolutely user-friendly. Because now, I've got to go grab the kernel and put it in place, which is arch boot. Wait, arch i386 boot. That's right. There's our image. Yeah, the 386 for me took about 6 hours, or the 486 took 6 hours. It was a massive improvement on the 386, but my 386 was a 386 SX 25 with no, pardon me, 386 SX 25 with no cache whatsoever. This long predates BZ Image. I think BZ Image was a 2.4 thing. Maybe 2.0. But the difference between VM Linux and VM Linux has the is ready to be booted from Lilo and has the floppy stub. VM Linux is the ELF kernel binary. So you actually don't want to use VM Linux unless you're debugging stuff. And then we put this as VMLINUZ. Ew. Interesting. It's actually making modules on things that I didn't request it to make modules on. Oh, I love this. Ah! Yep, soon I've got to do my Lilo command, because anytime you want to anytime you've got to change things around, you have to rerun the bootloader install. Yeah, this bootloader is so cursed. It remembers the position and length of your kernel image. So if you don't, or if you move that file at any point, if it actually gets moved on the hard disk for whatever reason, you have to rerun Lilo. Lilo is the most cursed bootloader in the world. At least I have Vim. At least I have Vim. It is file system agnostic, unless your file system likes to fragment files. Because also, if your kernel is at all fragmented, it won't boot. It has to be contiguous. I don't know if they ever fixed that. I never bothered to check. But yeah, it's... Oop. Well, here we go. Let's see what happens. I do not know if I'll be able to find this out, but it didn't care. Do you mean it didn't care about it being in a contiguous block? I mean, it is kind of hard to tell where or whether or not a file is contiguous or not. Was my soy loaf left out in Thrain? It tastes real good. What? What? Yeah, I know. I know it's Fortune. The zippy fortunes are just very what? Let's see here. HDA floppy. I don't know if this saw my... IPCS. I'm right now looking to see, and I do not see anything about the network card. Did I set the network card up properly? Yeah, I do have it as NE2K ISA. Huh. Yeah, you gotta love old Linux. You gotta love Linux now. I have no idea at all if it's recognizing my, if I even compiled in the network drivers properly. Let's do this. Let's remove the messages, the log, and let's reboot. Just so we can get one thing of okay, so it did try something because it tried, oh wait, no, that's just the, can't even tell if that's pre-init or post-init. I think that's post-init. I think that's trying to bring up the interface. Well, gotta go back to the kernel config. Wait, I have... Yeah, it's not seeing anything yet. The boot sequence did literally ask me to email somebody about my unknown PCI device. God. I really hate that the page up and page down keys do not work at all. The things I put up with as a kid. So this is the README for the Linux kernel, and I wonder if Linus will, if I send him a message, if he'll be able to get me back any information on the bug report I send him. Okay, so I am so used to using menu config that if I'm just in a Linux kernel configuration directory, I'm just going to type it. Time to go back through the config once again to see where we might have gone wrong. Yeah, but that would involve me sending an email to somebody, and I don't have the executive function to do that. I think I officially spent all of my, I think I spent all of my executive function to contact other humans yesterday. Sorry, I'm so quiet. I'm making sure I really read the. Okay, yes, NE 2000. So it was built in. You know what? Let's see if I can, if it has support for the PCI version as well. I can maybe change to the PCI NE 2000. Oh, of course it doesn't. Of course it doesn't. Or maybe it even does, but it didn't give me any options for it. Maybe we'll have to switch to the 1.3 kernels. Maybe the experimental kernel is a better option. So I don't have old samplers. Do have an ad lib in here. Forge all the headers so it was just spinning in a loop. You have to actually reproduce a bug report in the way he says, though. He says he wants it, though. Have it seem like the machine just turned on. Okay, so this was... Oh, of course. That's gonna break it. No, it didn't break it. Okay, I'm just gonna... Yeah, making BZ image is also something that my fingers just want to do when making a Linux kernel. Just because I've done it so many times. I mean, hopefully. This is Linux we're talking about. I think maybe we should just go for 1.3 because I didn't change any settings in this. Linux 1.3 has a few extra options. Oh yeah. The question is, what optimizations does this version of GCC even have at this point? I think it was 2.7? Yeah, 2.7. Does it even have fun roll loops? Nope, nope, nope. Can't do menu config. Still only config. don't need math emulation. Floppy disk support, yes. Hard drive support. I need to read up and see which version of Slackware in particular is when the whole eggs versus GCC happened, because during that entire time I had no idea which C compiler I was supposed to use. I really wasn't into programming, especially C programming back then, and it was just such a mess. And I never really looked into it too much, but my impression was it was a couple of warring factions in the GNU community. Let's see, kernel support for ELF binaries? Yes, we do need that. If your GCC is ELF GCC versus Dwarf GCC, or maybe even Orc GCC. Let's see here. Yes, no, 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 no. Oh, hey, we've got some new protocols in this one. We can do Apple Talk, or we can do amateur radio support. I wonder if there's... I've never even really looked. Is there still amateur radio support in Linux? What do you mean, Ada? Don't want slip. Don't want. Ooh, ArcNet support. Oh, yes, yes. I mean, I have to. I won't... I can't immediately recognize them. I actually have to ingest what it says, especially at this particular screen font and compactness. If I had it more spread out on a terminal like I have it over here on my main terminal, I'd be able to read it a little easier. But yeah, on this particular window, I have to take my time to read it. Oh no, I know. Also, this is the thing with especially early versions of Linux. The default configurations that when you make Mr. Proper, the default configurations always had these really oddball pre-selected options, like Zenith Znote support. Why is this set to yes? How many people actually had a Zenith Znote network card? Token ring. Okay, still no PCI NE2000. Not surprised. Minix file system. Yeah, probably. Or one of the other major um, major kernel devs. It's usually how that kind of thing goes. MS-DOS support. Yeah. Proc, NFS, ISO. Let's do the new sound card support, which is the same as the old, just a little bit different. I've got a few more drivers on this one. There you go, Trixie. Mediatrix Audiotrix Pro support. Did I miss it? Did I miss the... Wait, it didn't... 260 and... What was my... See here, my cusp was at RQ7. DMA3. Let's see if this gives us networking support. This is the kind of things that you had to do back in the day in order to get Linux working. And maybe it would work. Maybe it wouldn't. You just had to keep throwing shit at the walls until you got it working. Probe for it. And we are still waiting. Still waiting. Hey, it's built. All right, so make I made the other mistake. I did not tell it to make the Z image. Oh, interesting. I did not know this version of Linux had a Waveland driver in it. Oh my god. You mean I could have been using that? Yeah, there is no SMP support in this version of Linux. I'm not sure which one actually introduced it. It's definitely not the 1.3 that I'm looking at here. Although I think if I ever do get networking working on this, I would like to install, I would like to try the latest 1.3. see here. So if we make the image, make well, theoretically the NE 2000 driver should be built in. Copy Arch i386 boot C image. Let's give this a try. I would like to see if I'd like to know if any open operating system supported some the original compact. I think it was ServPro. It was an asymmetric. Was it that? So where's the Wikipedia page? Oh no, System Pro. This thing's wild. You can actually put a 386 and a 486 in this machine. It is asymmetric multiprocessing. I'm going to hold you to that old Linux. Let's see. Still nothing. What? Why on the asymmetric multiprocessing system? I mean, why not? You just throw more processors in it. Doesn't matter if they're the same or not. In fact, today, you know, with the fact that ARM cores are using, you know, the big little. Oh, that will be a good day. CD var. Let's see if messages gives us anything useful this time. Hey, it sees our sound card. But I don't. No. I don't see any indication of it even trying to initialize the NE 2000. Oh, what are you doing? So let's see here. Let's see what kind of old support requests we can find. All right, let's see if we can. We do have the TDLP how-tos in here, so these are. I think it's just. Question is, where did it put it? Here we go. This is probably not going to work. Oh, hey. Okay, Zcat does know how to speak gzip. I would not have expected that from this day and age. Let's see here. What are we doing wrong? What are we doing wrong? Actually, why am I doing this on the... Okay, so I need to give it a string for ether. Alright, so what are these? What is your order here? That is not very. That is not very many pixels. You would think you would want to have more than 80. So RQ. Base IO. Seven and then 0, I guess. Doesn't really say for 2000. And then Okay, so, and this should be 9. Okay, so 10x. Let's see if this app helps it work. Oh, hey, we're not instructed to mail the person who maintains the database anymore. All right, so still nothing. Did we get anything as far as the Ethernet driver is concerned in the logs? I find this funny that I have sound support, but I don't have Ethernet support right now. Well, let's see here. Let's try one more thing. Let's try seeing if we can build that as a module. Yeah, I think I'd... The problem is knowing what to test it with. I'm pretty sure you can't just dump a WAV file into the DSP device at this point in time. I think it has to be... Sorry. I need to not talk while I adjust myself on my chair. But yeah, I'm not entirely sure at this level of old Linux. Yes. Yeah. Oops. Yeah, not compiling it. Compiling it as an a.out would be a bad idea. Yeah, but that's open source, open sounds system. The old Linux stuff, I have no idea. I do know I've used. Oh, I did not want to do SCSI support. I don't have SCSI on this system. Well, I guess I have some SCSI support. This is what I get for not paying attention. Oops, I didn't configure PS2 mice. Well, we might not have mouse support right away. Don't want Pro. Okay, so Sound Blaster was 240. IRQ number is 5. DMA 1. 16-bit DMA is 5. I don't think I have the MIDI configured for this. 267, 3. Yeah, it can do a serial mouse. I think I've done that in the past. Oh, it's been so long since I had a serial mouse. I will be right back. Helps if I unmute my mic. I forget when I had my last serial mouse. I think it might have been around 2000. I did hold on to this serial mouse for a while, just because I had one of the Logitech Bear Paw style mice, and I really liked it and did not want to give it up. Let's see here. Will this make the Ethernet driver as a module? There's the NE driver, yeah. Okay. I did not know this about ancient Linux, that if you don't select the driver, it will make it as a module. Oh yeah, that's another thing. I tried to always have external modems because it was always hit or miss with internal ones. Like, even ones that had real COM ports didn't always work properly in Linux. And then if you had one of the later soft modems, forget about it. I mean, to this day, modems are just kind of miss at this point. Oh, wait. Okay, let's try using the NE2000 driver as a module instead of built in the kernel. Oof. In 2010? Ouch. I mean, of course, at 2010 I was in university, so I was just always at the U of I ACM office for my internet access. I had internet access at home. I only used it sometimes. So, let me think. So let's see here. I think it mentioned to use a old style alias. So let me write this stuff down. So, want an alias 0 any IO equals 0x300. Let us see if doing this will work. What do we got? And of course we don't have the modules.conf file. Of course not. That would make things too easy. So let's don't care about any of those not having... Thanks. You want to tell me why? No, you don't want to tell me why. um... So... Oh, hello, Artemis. Yeah, this is pretty much a bunch of cats watching an otter do something really cursed. Don't even have mod info. Probe. $2 %1. Let's see here. Oh, it's conf.modules, not modules.conf in this version. I forgot about that. Oh my god. I'm not sure. So you might not be able to get too modern of a Linux on a 486, mostly because CPU, some CPU support has been taken out. I know you can't do it on a 386 at all. 386 specific stuff has been removed just because continuing to support the 386 was actually hampering the development of the Linux kernel. But 46, some of the stuff might be taken out. Like you might not be able to get all everything with like the isobus cards and stuff initialized. And who knows if VLB support is still in there. Okay, so... Yeah, I guess if anything, Arch Linux would have support directly for the 486 still. Do I continue trying to bash my head with the network support? Hello! Do I continue to bash my head with the network support, or do I switch to X configuration? Choices. That's part of the problem I'm having right now is telling Linux where to find my network card. Because there is no, this particular version of Slackware has absolutely no idea what ISA plug and play is. And yeah, it has very limited support for PCI and other cards. Let me check and see what we have support for in the modules. And let me see what 36. Let's see what dash device help. Let's see here. Scroll up to network devices. Where is network devices? Let's see here. We can get so we have mostly Intel cards. Oh yeah, this doesn't even have a driver for the 3C905. God. eExpress, that might actually, would that be that actually might be what I want if I use one of the older Intel Ethernet cards. Oh God, that would mean I'd have to set up I have used PPP in Linux. It was painful. And then I'd have to set up a PPP server here too, which that's going to be painful as well. Let me see in, oops. I did something. Oh, okay. Let's see here. I should go back into the source directory. User source Linux. And okay, so that's not the individual drivers then. What is this? Intel Ether Express. So this actually might. Okay, so this is the 82586. We don't have an 82586. We have PCNet. We don't have PCNet. Wait. Let's see, ePro. Which one is this? Which chip are you? Oh my god, 0.7a. That's gonna work well. So this is 595. We also don't have 595s. Let's see. Oh, we have Tulip. Oh, good. We do have a Tulip drivers. Ooh, okay, okay. Let's reconfigure for Tulip and see if that's going to work. Who knows? It might work. It might not. Let's go and replace our network card. Let's see here. So, all right. So this is going to sit on PCI bus. So hopefully we'll see it. Who knows? Who knows at this point? Ooh, I did not want to include the boot disk. I don't need a boot disk anymore. Oh no. No, the dreaded LI. Oh my god, the dreaded LI. All right. Well, rip. Dreaded LI, so that means that we have... That means that Lilo can't read part of its bootloader. Which I'm not sure why, because it was booting fine before. Let's see. Wait, why didn't you boot off the... Oh, butts. I probably... Alright, I am going to make a new hard drive image. And I am going to reinstall, since it doesn't take that long to reinstall this on this virtual machine. Let's see here. So, yeah, you're probably right. Let me edit the... No, I think it's FDA. Dang it. Messed something up. Where did I mess things up? Let's put it here. Nope, it does not like that. I'll just make a new hard drive image. It's faster than reading the documentation. Okay. There we go. Thank you, Ada. Let's see here. Oh. Oh no. What did you do to my hard drive, Linux? It does not like life. New hard drive time. This has probably got to do with the fact that I tried to install it on such a large image. Because, God forbid, Linux does things the right way all the time. So let's do it on a less than 500 megabyte hard drive image. Yeah, Linux. So the 1.2 kernel at install time was using BIOS int13 calls to the hard drive to write. So it only saw the first 525, 540 megabytes of the drive, which fun times. So let's use the other hard disk image. Use the right extension this time anyway, because it is not a raw image, it's a QCOW image. Ooh. Change floppy 0. And so we go. Yeah, pretty much everything with computers is cursed. All right. And set up. And so we want to set up our target partition format. One inode per 4K. Oh yeah, the extended 4 isn't that old. I think here with Slackware 3.0, I think that's one of the earlier versions that, or one of the earlier versions that had extended 2 support. When I get back, I don't know if you've seen me compile any kernels yet, but which I've done several times now. The it gives you the option if you want to build drivers for the first extended file system, which I don't believe Linux supports anymore, Xia FS, Minix FS, UMS DOS. I don't think any of those, except Extended 2, have are supported under the Linux kernel any longer. And like, Linux still supports things like Amiga file systems and stuff like that, but it doesn't support its own ancient file systems. All right, I think we're going to be a little bit more decisive this time. Definitely have to do games because I would. Oh, it still has Minix? Okay. I mean, well, Minix really isn't Linux's file system, per se. It did use it for the earliest versions, but later versions it used it pretty quickly went over to the extended file system. And then there was the battle between Extended 2 and Xia FS. And Xia FS was really bad. I'm glad it didn't win this battle. As long as we're yeah. Linux has always been really bad. Oh yeah, that's true. I mean, Minix FS is a decent file system. It's just limited, and it's good for what you might need it for. A very limited, small file system that is easy to access. It's kind of like FAT, except just only Linux and Minix support it. But I guess in some way, granted, most Intel processors have a 486 core running Minix on them. Oh, yeah, it froze. Weird. Camera? Interesting. What is my camera doing? Camera go by. Camera hello. Camera hello. There we go. That should fix it. I think. Yeah, there we go. All right. Although, one thing that's good, we have sudo. See here. I don't think I want ftape. Yeah, I'm planning on doing some travel once we can too. I am like so tired of being at home all the time. I want to get out in places. The GNU C compiler for old A-out bin format. God, this operating system is so painful. Oh yeah, yeah. It's nice to have those little things. Although this menu system here that you can select what you want. This is this was made the default, I think, in 3.0. Before that, it asks you each package. It comes up, presents that slide, and asks you if you want to install it. Really annoying. Yeah, in fact, with these with modern hardware, you might actually slow down your install, waiting for the various screens to change, rather than you might actually slow it down with the I/O there. GA mono. You know what? I'm gonna throw the 18 or 8514 in just for shits and giggles. Two experimental X servers. No idea what those experimental X servers support, but two experimental ones. Let's go for it. Yep, it's also why whenever I throw a status bar into any sort of file processing I work on, I generally will batch it. I won't have it say what files it's working on every time, just because I don't want to slow things down. Wait. Eh. Still want to get to the point where we can run Doom. Can't forget to eject the floppy. Non-system disk error. Oh, I need to do a work-related thing really briefly. One moment, please. And we're back. And Ada is correct. I did have to have my pager handoff. So let's get back here to Trilobite. So, if anybody's wondering, my naming scheme right now for computers is sea creatures. Otter, sea creatures. Makes sense. And I decided for anything that's ancient, I use ancient sea creatures. And I misspelled Trilobite the first time I typed it in, and I'm like, I'm keeping that. All right, let's try rebuilding. This is the... Yeah, this is 1.3. So let's build the 1.3 kernel again. Let's just skip 1.2. And let's go with 1.3 and see if this works. And no, Alice, you cannot type menu config on this version of Linux. You have to suffer. Tend to need to concentrate on the configuration. Just because I'm dyslexic and I need to actually process every word. And I think I wanted to not have those two say yes, but we'll go with it for now. I'm actually going to say no to everything in here as well. Mostly to have, like, I discovered the secret here is, which this I didn't know when I was using this at the time, is if you say no to all these options and you make modules, it will make anything that wasn't built into the kernel into a module. Except the sound support. The sound support's a different build system altogether. So yeah, we've got Minix, extended, the old extended, second extended, XIFS, MS-DOS, and now some stuff you might recognize. That is a good name. I like it. My MacBook Air is named Abalone, or Abalone. And my headphones, my Bose headphones, thinks it's Ebalone. Oops, I missed the sound card support. Gah! Time to go through everything all over again. Well, the one good thing is at least it remembers your, as long as you end with a success error or success return code, the options you chose were saved. So I can fix my two networking settings that I wanted to say no to, because I'm not entirely sure what these mean, especially in this context, because I don't recognize what they're talking about. But assuming all subnets are local, I'm imagining I don't want that if I want to use the internet. And I don't think I want to drop source routed frames. I could be wrong on these two options, and they're just either weirdly stated or they're things nobody ever changes in their life except for some Linux nerds. But we'll go with it for now. Okay, we're closing in. Here we go. At least it doesn't error out if you type the wrong key. At least it doesn't error out if you type the wrong key. Now the sound support section does not remember what you used. Now we don't want Pro Audio Spectrum. We do want Sound Blaster. We want Gus. I guess I should ask: was the AdLib an OPL2 or OPL3? I'm probably gonna pass the option up before you can respond, or maybe not even see the option for OPL3. Here it is. But I don't remember. I think it might actually be a bit more of a pain in the butt anyway to try and get AdLib support working under Linux right now. Yeah, I thought it was OPL2 as well. Let's see, here's the Sound Blaster was 240. And IRQ of 5, low DMA 1, high DMA 5. This ultrasound is 260, 7, 3. Oh, nice. Let's see here. Make that. Yeah, I think for my apartment, I want to get my network, or I want to get lutris.house for my my network domain. I should probably do that soon, especially now that I said that publicly on the internet, before somebody else goes and buys it from underneath me. Okay, we have modules. Okay, let's see what happens. Will we be able to use the tulip card? What? Oh, wait. Silly me. When your brain confuses the two commands. Okay, let's see. Oh, you gotta be kidding me. No, early Linux. You troll. I'm being very, very careful not to miss the... And did I miss it? I missed it somehow. Son of a... Yeah, you actually don't have an option for modules in this old of a version of Linux. You get the options of Y or N, and N implies module when you make modules. This combination is useless. Sound driver disabled. CD drivers net. Unfortunately, I'm not entirely sure how I'm going to go about recording sound from a from Cemu anyway. Because macOS does not have a native way to do loopback sound sampling, so you can't really there's no easy way to record what macOS is playing back. So I'm not sure what I'm going to do there yet. Tulip. Deck ELCP. Okay. Oh, it stands for big. I thought that the B was bzip. Wow. Wow, the things my brain will just assume. I think I started using BZ. I think I started to need to use BZ image when I made my own kernels, right around the same time that bzip started getting introduced. Like, it took me a while to switch from Z-image to BZ image when I was building kernels. But that was mostly just because Z-image just worked all the time, because I usually built a kernel with exactly what I needed. And it wasn't until like the 2.6 series that I started to need to actually um, use BZ image because it was too big. Okay, let's see. Yeah, I haven't built a kernel image for a machine I'm actually like a machine like a desktop or a laptop for myself in probably it's probably been since like 2004 or 5 I've done that last. I do make a lot of machines for ARch64, ARM, um, and a lot of RISC-V kernels just because I like messing around with that architecture. It's not giving me the option for the tulip card. Linux, you frickin' troll. Let's see here. What do I do about this? Do I want to... Let's see. Let's go to kernel.org. I do love that you can... that they're all available still. All of them. It is... Okay. Well, I mean, a simple wget could probably tell you if you just asked it to not download the files. It should tell you at the end how much it was supposed to download. I think I've used wget's recursive mode like that. And I'm not sure how far back the version history goes with Linux too, just because they weren't using any revision controls at this point. Okay, so we're gonna do this the really weird way, we're going to take and put this kernel image onto an extended tube file system that we will then use as a hard drive for Kemu over here, mount it, copy the kernel off, and see if 1.3.100 is any better than 1.3.20. Let's see here. What were the options to Genix 2FS? Did you give me a example? Yes, you do. Kind of. I think I'm better off just... So... Block... Oh. Let's see here. So... Yes, I am now. What? Fine. I will satisfy my typo. Machine eject floppy 0. Reset. Wait, what? Is QEMU eating my hard disks? Well, that's unexpected. I forgot to... Well, QEMU. I guess that's a good place to stop for tonight. I'm gonna have to find out why QEMU is gobbling up my hard drive images. It might be. I've also had so I'm relying on the brew version, the homebrew version of QEMU, and I think I may go and just build my own version 'cause it's been doing weird things lately, so I'm gonna try doing that tonight. Why am I naming files like you name files? I guess you're rubbing off on me, Trixie. But anyway, that's been fun. We'll do it again because I still don't have networking set up. And I still don't have X set up. I want both of these set up. And then eventually I want to get to a point where I'm running OpenStep because I used that for the longest time. So I will let y'all know on Twitter and other places when I stream next. So, later.